make sure that the nice thing about this, then I could make sure that it's streaming to everywhere it needs to stream to.
So
Like I
did we
said,
have many people actually watching it live while we did it last time? Or they
just got a new bridle too, but I don't have it on today. Oh. I think Ron's saying we're live, so hello to everyone else out there, I guess. Ron, do you want to mic me? We had a really good week.
Great.
Yeah.
It's been going well?
Yeah, everything's been going really well. I feel like we made decent progress. We'll see what we get today, but I feel like we made decent progress on both him and my position, actually. So I guess we'll see. I felt like I was getting a little bit better bend to him. You want that one? Should I turn this off? Nope. Is this one on?
Hey Calvin, what's going on, buddy? Go ahead and check it. Go ahead and talk.
It doesn't sound like it's going through the microphone. I hear you, but from far away.
There we go. Now you bet. Can you now?
Now,
Okay.
perfect.
Oh, I was talking through that, I
No,
think.
it's off.
Are you sure? Because when I turn this way, oh, I see. It's right there. Okay.
It's always good to have britches or pockets.
Yeah. So I'll just start with like some work in hand then?
Absolutely. So if we're online, good morning, everybody. If you're joining us today, or afternoon, I should say, depending on what part of the world you're in.
Or middle of the night, I suppose.
Middle of the night. Welcome.
Come on, walk on. I kind of woke him up from a sleep.
I can see that. Take a moment.
Good boy.
Yeah, now just one little tap, begin to activate, see if we can get a little bit more swing in that walk. That. Go ahead and turn by the center line, coming around there. That's pretty nice. And go ahead and do a leg heel to the right. Ron, if you check out where this camera is tracking, it's getting up to her head. I'm not seeing the lower part of the horse.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I can see it from here. Ron, the tracking is off.
In terms of where it's, what I'm showing. There you go. Now I see everybody. Good job there. Let's go ahead at this end when you come down here. Go ahead and turn again and do whatever. Right?
You said center line?
Yeah, center line and leg.
Okay. Come on.
That's good. Start your leg heel as you come around the corner, just like that. Good job. Now I kind of swung out the shoulders a little bit more than the hindquarters. Let's do that one more time and try to not let the shoulders go out so far. A little more parallel. We want the shoulders to lead a little bit, but we don't want them to just walk on a diagonal line, which is kind of what he did that time. So as you come around your corner here, start your leg heel just as you start to make the turn. Already be thinking of pushing those hindquarters over a little bit around the corner. So it started as you start the turn. And then try to keep it consistent like that. There you go. Now we have it. Just like that is really good. There, that's good. Just like that. Very nicely done. Good job. Now when you reach the rail, just go onto a circle and let him stretch all the way down on a big circle. Of course, whenever I say circle, I always mean 20-meter circle or width of the arena, unless I tell you smaller than that. Just yield the hindquarters a little bit on the circle, push him out just a little bit so he begins to get either on the same circle with both ends, still trailing the hindquarters a little bit on the circle. So now that you're on the big circle, now just try to come a little more shoulder forward. That is, push the hindquarters a little bit more outside. Keep their outside rein back along his withers there. See if you can lift up that outside hand, bringing your outside rein back a little bit like that. There, now we're getting into a better position. Move the hindquarters just a little bit. There we go. So a little bit shoulder fore around the circle. Just a little more. Still need to move those hindquarters out just a bit more.
Come on.
A little bit more. There you go. Keep moving those hindquarters out there. And of course, at this level, that's what we're trying to do, is get him to let us control the position of the shoulders with that outside rein. That's what we're teaching him here. And now, once again, hindquarters a little bit more outside. Get a little more position in that leg. There you go, like that. There. Start doing the shoulder in. There. And see how that all of a sudden he stretches deeper, doesn't he?
Yeah.
As you get that hind leg to engage. Very nice. And you can stop there and change directions.
Oh, whoa.
Turning off.
Whoa.
Oh, there, big bud. Starting to know the drill.
Yeah, he does know the drill for sure.
As you come to the rail, go ahead and go large this time and go straight down the long side and then up to the end and down the center line, leg yielding to the left. Opposite of what we just did. Just a little tap to make that hind end a little bit more active in your walk there. So he starts to, there you go, get a little more active step, trying to make each step the same. Turning by the center line and leg yielding to the left. And of course, remembering again in this direction, as you start to come around the corner, start your leg yield before you let him completely straighten out. So start to leg yield right there as you're already coming around the corner. As the horse gets more experience, then we go in straight lines. But that's really good, like that. Keep that going all the way to the rail. Big steps, keep up with him. There you go. Now onto a circle here. On your big circle, and once again, a little bit shoulder forward. So ask those hindquarters to move a little bit outside the circle. That's getting a little better. Move the hindquarters a little bit more, so I want to see a little more of that position. Good, keeping that active step, that's good. Hindquarters a little bit more outside, so we get them a little more in the shoulder forward. There we go. Notice that when we get that hind leg to activate, all of a sudden the stretch starts happening. Lost a little bit, so once again, push his hindquarters a little bit outside their circle. There, so you get him to stretch a little deeper again. I like that. Very nice, like that, all the way down there. Very nice. Better release. Keep that on the circle now, all the way down there. A little bit shoulder forward, all the way around your circle. A little more hindquarters as you come around there. Kind of fell into the inside a little bit with the back end. A little bump with your whip there, asking to step over a little bit. There we go, all the way down like that. Good, and you can stop right there. Good work. Getting easier every time.
Yeah, it really is.
Let's struggle to get the hindquarters out this time. Very nice. Put them on the lunge line. Very nice.
Hey, Ron, can you turn Will up a little bit in here? I can hear him, but I think once I ride, I'll have a harder time. Also, can you put the chain up there? Thanks. So, Will, our side reins all got confused this week between Ron and I. And his broke. So, we're kind of starting again, I think, on length with you. Sorry.
All right.
Oh, I just grabbed my reins. I don't need that yet. Can you hold this? My reins. I just said
one of the things that looked like they would be long enough last time without any extra.
They're your reins. Sorry. I thought they were. What'd you say, Will?
I said the one set looked like they would be long enough without having to add anything extra there.
You think so? He thinks so.
Well, the one, I'm not sure whichever the ones that you had were longer.
Yeah, they were longer. Yeah, yeah. These are not as long.
They're not working correctly.
Here, how about I do that? You do that. Because the knot thing, I'll guess here a little bit about where. Four from the smallest. Yeah. Actually, I have enough. Yeah. One, two, yeah, that's right. Okay, good.
Is Sam there with you today?
No, not right now.
She's not right now, but she's here. I just don't know where she is. She's at the house, I think. So Ron might be lunging me then.
Okay.
Are you sure this isn't going to pop? Okay. Now I just need my lunge stuff. Because I brought them all the way out here. Maybe you could help. No, I don't want that. Thanks. It's warm here today again.
Yeah, sounds like it. Yeah, warming up here today too.
Okay, thanks, Ron. Come on. Just if you could just keep an ear open, Ron, if I need something. It's nice having a husband that also works as my groom. He doesn't always do that for me. Okay.
That's not a bad place to start with. Let's see what he does. They'll probably need to be shortened here pretty soon, but that's.
Oh, he's gonna pee. Go ahead. It's okay.
You're trying. Good boy.
Good boy. Good boy. Okay.
He likes to open himself before he does any serious work. That's a good thing. So starting in the center there, and a little smaller circle, so you start to get him to stretch down, and then make the circle larger. Engage him a little bit.
Come on. Come on.
Okay, I can see now those are a little bit too long. Let's go ahead and stop and shorten those side reins. Just go ahead and take them up about 4 holes.
Oh, okay.
They're a bit on the long side there.
Calvin.
Dragging them on the ground.
Oh.
So go ahead and shorten them now.
Hey. Actually, hey. Whoa. I have 3 holes left.
Okay, just take them up that. That's fine.
Okay.
That'll be enough to see where we get to.
I guess the other option is I could take the blue twine off if we need to, but. Hey. Stand.
Ooh, there, buddy.
Come on. Okay. Oops.
Do try to get in the habit of not dropping that whip on the ground when you're out there if you can.
Okay.
I mean, this horse obviously seems very safe, but you just never know.
Yeah.
One day you'll do this with some other young horse, and if you lean down like with your head the way you just did, that's the point, is that they kick out. You're right in the danger zone there. Once in a while they do.
Come on. Walk. Yep. Good boy. Yeah, and even with a safe one, right? You never know. Something might scare them, unpredictable, something.
Exactly. You just never know with horses what's going to happen. So we always have to be prepared. That's what riding should teach us all. We must always pay attention. We must always be prepared, thinking ahead of what could happen.
Good boy.
Yeah, very nice. This is all coming much faster each day. Once again, every time he comes up a little bit, try to yield those hindquarters just like you did when you were working from the ground with the work in hand. Essentially what you're doing here is the same thing, just a little differently. Still want to yield those hindquarters a little bit more. Always what you got to think about working. Ask yourself, where are the hindquarters? Is the whole body of the horse on the same circle, or is the hindquarters on a little tiny circle and the shoulders are way outside of that? So we want them at least always be on the same circle, and very often we want them to yield the hindquarters a little further, so they're doing a little over forward, so we can engage that inside hind leg like that. Soften with that inside rein just a little bit. Once again, you need to send those hindquarters out away from you a little bit more.
Come on.
Keep him a little closer to you. If he trots off, no big deal. Don't let him just take off. Just keep him on that smaller circle. And then ask him to yield the hindquarters a little more again. Try to just run that lash out and just touch him with it. Again, so I tell people all the time that you should practice with a whip off of the horse, away from horses, so you can learn to just really tap. But you'd like to be able to run that lash out and just tap him with the end of that lash if you're good enough at it. It's a real skill to working with whips. Nice, like that. And now trot.
And trot. And trot.
Get your lash out and tap him with it. So it's not just the voice command. When he doesn't respond to that, just that voice command. Not a bad stretch now, just a little bit more active. Try to walk with him and open your circle up a little bit so it gets bigger. I like how he's stretching, but it needs to be a little more active behind him. We get a little more swing through his back. And once again, pay attention to where the hindquarters are. Keep looking at the hindquarters. Where are they? Look at the back end of the horse when we're working most of the time rather than the front end. There you go. Now he's moving a little bit for you. That's more like it. Keep that. Stay on that little smaller circle for a moment. Still yield the hindquarters a little more. There you go. Now as he starts to stretch, then you walk and give him a little bigger circle. So his reward is always making it easier for him. He learns to stretch down, all of a sudden he's on a bigger circle. Life becomes easier. So that we want correct work to be its own reward for the horse. And that as the horse follows our instructions, he becomes more comfortable in the work. That's what makes them willing participants in all this. Nice, there, good. Good job, right there. Keep that going. Keep it going, like that. That's not bad at all. Really nice. Keep that going. His belly just started to pull up a little bit. Everybody's watching. Pay attention to those flanks. Belly there and watch as he starts to pull that up as he sort of begins to move a little more actively. We begin to see the core getting a little more engaged. Like that, really nice. Good. Now let's see what his canter looks like once. Go ahead and ask him to canter.
Okay.
Again, I'm not expecting a perfect transition. I just want to see what it looks like at this point.
Ready? And canter. Come on, canter. Good boy.
Try to get it moving a little faster. Get behind him and send him a little more actively on, like that. Keep it going.
Come on, canter.
Keep it going for a moment. Keep it going for a moment. Keep it going. Run your lash out and tap him once.
Come on. Canter.
Good. Now bring him back to a trot.
Oh, okay.
That's all right. You can bring him back to a trot. Just wanted to see what it looked like. And once again, now focus on getting him back in the stretch. So bring him closer to you. Yield the hindquarters again until he starts to get back into the correct position. There we go, like that. Back. Every time he comes up, you bring him a little closer to you again and yield the hindquarters. Like that. Really good now. Good.
I've also noticed that he tends to pull the rein out of my hand, basically. Especially going this side. The other side, he does it less.
Remember, always give and take. So anytime you feel a heavy pressure, give for a second and then take back so he doesn't just grab hold of you.
Okay.
You'll always win a pulling contest with a human being. So we have to be smarter than they are and give and take and just don't give them anything. As soon as you feel the rein tighten for a minute, just first thing you do is let it go for a second and then take it back again. I like that. Good. Keep that going. That's good.
Good boy.
Keep going. That's good. By the time he's starting to breathe or start to hear blowing out like that, that's when he's beginning to open his wind up a little bit. Take deeper breaths. That's really good. Really good there. Really good there. Nice. And let him walk.
And walk. Walk. Good boy.
Take a moment, let him come back into that stretch. Just going through the gears in order. Every time we do something, we go up in the same order. We get it as right as we can, then come back, correct the walk again. Like that, really good.
Nice. Good job. Walk on.
The hindquarters out a little bit, so he stretches a little deeper.
Come on. Walk on. You can do it. Walk.
There you go.
Good boy.
There you go. Feel the inside rein a little bit as you bring the hindquarters a little bit outside, push them outside a little bit more. I just want to get a little deeper in that stretch in the walk before we turn around. There we go, all the way back, a little bit more, softening him. There we go. A little bit deeper in that stretch, a little more active in the step.
Come on. You can do it. There you go.
Good job.
Walk.
Yeah. That soften him just a little bit with that inside rein, just by giving and taking a little bit once again, while you push his hindquarters a little further away from you, like that. There. It takes that bigger step and pushes through the back. There. It starts to release. Like that. Now stop and change directions.
And whoa. Whoa, Calvin. Whoa. Good boy.
Very nice. Much better that time. Stopping better for you today.
He stops good on the lunge line for me. It's the work in hand that I have a hard time with. But the funny thing is, if the reins aren't over his head, he's fine. He listens very well. Okay. Walk. Go on. Walk. Go on. Yep. Walk on. You have to poop again?
Nice. It's there. All just coming much better. Good job. As it starts to soften. A little bit deeper in that stretch and walk if we can before we start the trot. Once again, still yielding the hindquarters. There. Getting better. There we go. Now ask him to trot.
And trot. Good boy.
Of course, right away ask yourself, is that active enough? Could be a little bit more. Give him a little bigger circle, but that's really coming very fast now. Yeah, really good. Keep that. A little more active. Once again, always paying attention to where those hindquarters are. Where are both ends of him on the same circle, is what I'm trying to say. Like that. Really good there. Really good there. Really nice. Keep it going. Excellent. A bit. Now, as you come around to the wall this time, ask him to canter. Let's take a little peek at what it looks like in this direction today.
Ready, Calvin? Ready? And canter. Good boy.
Better keep that. Yeah, that's good. Keep it going. Keep it going. Keep it going. Keep it going. Much better. Now back to a trot.
And trot.
I'm not quite completely over his back yet, but the neck is starting to come out. It's way better than it was the last 2 weeks, but that was good. And that's all I want to be doing is just, I'm not trying to improve the canter. I'm trying to see where the canter's at just by itself. In other words, trot is going to build the canter. When the trot builds enough strength in the trot, all of a sudden the horse will have a good canter. Whereas if we try to do more cantering, we just wear the horse out. Nice, right there. Keep that going actively around that circle. Wonderful. Very good. Now let him walk. That's excellent.
And walk. Good boy. Walk on.
And if you have a helper there, Ron or whoever's there.
Sam's here now.
Sam's there. Come on out and begin to take over from mounting block. Let's get her up there. That was really good today. This is all becoming very, very systematic is what I'm trying to say here. Beginning to understand the drill, and you see how important it is that we do every one of these steps every day, how it builds, each step builds on the next one.
You're a good boy. Okay, come on. He's like, I'm done. Come on.
Probably want to, if you're going to lead on that side, then change the, in other words, you see where you're going to be and lead him from one side or the other. And have the rail clipped on the right side. And turn your whip around, make him walk along beside you. Stop dragging him along. I'm going to say, put the whip, turn the whip the other way in your hand so the back end of it is the other way so you can tap him with it. Let's do this for 1 second. I want you to turn that whip around the other way in your hand. So the back, in other words, the smaller end points back towards the back of the horse. And you're outside.
Okay.
Like there. So you can reach back and tap. Now make him walk around a circle once with you. But make him come up to your shoulders. He's way behind you. The horse should walk at your shoulder.
Come on.
So stop moving until he comes up to your shoulder. Don't keep walking. He's way out behind you somewhere. That's it. A little more. Tap him again until he walks up to your shoulder. But slow down till you get alongside his shoulder. Stop walking. There you go. Now tap him and keep him right there. This is how you teach a horse to lead. That's how a horse should lead. I've seen very quiet horses run right over the top of people who are leading them the way you were leading with the horse way out behind them. Something spooks a horse, it'll come right over the top of you. That's one thing we always have to remember about horses. When they panic, they don't care what's in the way. I've seen them come through the side of a barn. Just, that was solid as your barn is right there because they wanted to escape something. So we always have to remember that the power that they have, and that power can turn on in a split second. You don't want to be in the way. One more time, keep that going around there. That's really nice, like that.
And did you say one more time?
Every day, so you're not always dragging him along behind you someplace. That should be part of the activity that happens when you're with him. Part of his schooling is just learning to lead. All right, now let's get her up, and away we go. Fantastic.
Are you like that? You want to say hi?
Sam will take the whip, of course. And of course, we need reins on there.
What's up?
Need some reins on there for you.
I just realized I'm on.
Got your reins today.
Reins?
How are you, Sam?
I'm all right. How are you doing? It's good to see you.
Good. You're having fun in Ithaca for the summer?
Yeah, it's really nice. I'm going to have 2 falls this year. So that's how I designed my year.
There you go. Nice.
Calvin. You looked really good, huh? You doing your job, buddy?
He is.
Do you want me to lead him, or are you going to lead him?
I can do it.
Huh?
I can do it.
Okay.
This is your what? Yeah.
My gnarly old.
No, you don't need a big one. You can use mine if you want.
It's okay.
Okay.
I like this.
You know what? Ron has a nice one.
It's okay.
You can steal his.
I don't want it.
Oh, don't forget your stirrups.
That's what I'm doing.
Okay, this one on this side. Are these the new ones? No. These aren't the new ones. You're going to send the new ones back, right?
Yeah, they're too short. Okay.
Okay, come on, buddy. Let's go.
Oh, I'm just going to put this up.
Well, it would be easier to turn the other way, Sam. But you're right.
Oh, there wasn't room to turn the other way. Well, I guess you could make that turn. Maybe.
Like, am I right in the camera view?
Okay.
Oh.
It's okay. I'll just move this a little. Now I really am right in the camera view, probably. Blocking everything else.
Oh.
Hi, sweetie. Okay.
All right, now let's take her to the middle of the arena. Just watch that mounting block that's not underneath the horse when you need to move away.
Oh, you want to go left first? We're going left first. It's already hooked left, so let's just stick with that. I think it's fine. Oh, I should.
Which side is it on?
It's on the left. Oh.
I just couldn't see.
Okay.
Okay. Well, once again, the rider is doing most of the work here. Sam is just there to keep him going,
Tip to pee.
if necessary. Once again, like training wheels.
You did already.
There in case he decides to exit stage left somewhere along the way.
He's been exit stage right as well lately.
Right.
Yeah, he's been switching sides. He's decided as well.
Yeah, good. Now, while you're walking, now ask yourself, are both ends of him on the same circle? So move those hindquarters out a little bit on your circle. That's the way, into that outside rein a little bit. And again, the hindquarters need to move. You can tap him a little stronger with your whip. Sometimes
I think he's
nothing
gonna
really
move,
happens.
actually.
Relieve himself there again for a moment.
I'm starting to get used to his routine.
Yeah. Definitely one that likes to get emptied out. And that's a good thing. That tells you the right stuff is happening. Like that. And then once again, yielding the hindquarters a little bit outside so you get both ends of the horse on the same circle. Like that. And Sam is just being steady where she is. Now see how he kind of fell in there? So I want you to ride that circle so that you can keep him out at the end of that line all the way around the circle. So keep leg yielding those hindquarters to the outside until we take up the slack. So Sam shouldn't have to move. She can stay just where she is, and it's up to you to take up that slack in the ring and not let him fall in every time. Good way for you to evaluate what's happening. So suddenly you see him plunging to the inside, we suddenly see a big slack in that rein, like he tries to do as he comes around there. He's trying to fall towards the outside door all the time. The outdoor. There you go. Keep him out there like that. That time you got a pretty good leg. You keep that going around the circle. And, be ready to anticipate. If you know the horse has been doing the same thing every time you come around to a certain place, we'll kind of anticipate a little bit, get him started, just like we did with the leg yields, is starting to push the hindquarters out as you come around the corner. So anticipate that he's going to fall in as you come around here each time. And keep him out there on the circle like that, moving him a little bit away. So came in a little bit, but not bad. See how it comes to fall. He wants to fall the hindquarters to the inside all the time. So once again, asking him to yield the hindquarters a little bit more outside, like that. Now you're in the right position, like that. Keep it all the way around there. Same thing here. Just follow up with your hands or widen them, whatever, just so he can't escape the contact. Not trying to force him or hold him in a particular frame, but just not letting him escape the contact with the bit. Which is never backwards pressure. Just the weight of the rein be to you. As the horse gets better and better, we feel kind of a positive sense in our hand, but it's never a backwards pressure. In other words, our biceps should never be involved in the process. Like this. Much better now. Keep that going on around here. Okay, he's starting to fall in a little bit. Inside the leg again, moving back out. There you go. Now that time you did it right there. Start to yield those hindquarters a little bit. Now prepare to trot. And right into the trot rising. And we don't worry about the transition being too perfect. It's going to be what it will be at this point. We're trying to work on transitions until we have a horse consistent in the two gaits we're trying to transit between. And all of a sudden that just takes care of itself. Like that. Keep going. More active. There you go, like that. Good job. Keep going like that. Like how when he began to stretch, you stayed up. As they stretch down, we have to stretch up. So we don't unbalance them to the front. Like that. Good job. Just a little bit more active. Really good. That's better. Good right there. Now see if you can get just a little bigger trot out of it. Just got to stretch. Got to see if we can maximize the stride. There we go, like that. That's what we like that. Good job now. Keep that all the way around the circle. Really good. Keep that. Really good. A little tap and get a little bit more active. Good job. There. Very nice. Keep that going. Again, just a little more active. He's in a really good stretch. I'm just trying to maximize the step a little bit, like that. That. Very nice. Keep that. Now just sit one bounce and change your rising diagonals like we did last time, just beginning to put a little pressure on his back foot by doing nothing but changing the diagonal. See how that kind of slowed him down. And again, change your rising diagonal, switch to the opposite one, trying there to be a seamless connection like that. Good. And again, sit one bounce and change. Good, like that. Sit one bounce and change. So now you're back on the correct one. Good, keep it going now. Stretch up, keep that good active trot. That's really nice today. Keep that. A little tap there as he comes around. Slow down, be ready with your leg. Send him on. Good job. Now, keep going. Just a little stronger again, starting to dump a little bit on the front end. Tap again with your whip there to keep stepping forward. Nice. Now ease him back to a walk. Very nice. And let him stretch in the walk, get him back into the stretch in the walk before we change directions. Correct the walk for a moment. Once right away begin to ask him to yield those hindquarters again on your circle a little bit. But get him back into the stretch, soften him by just closing your reins for a moment on the reins, so softening him. So he has a live feel of his mouth. It's never tense, it's never pulling back. It's just giving him something to support a little bit, but never totally supporting the horse. That is, we're never trying to hold him up or hold it in place. Like that. Once again, yield the hindquarters just a little bit more. Really nice. Like that. All the way down that stretch. Soften him a little bit. Yield the hindquarters a little more there. There. Like that. Good job. Now ask him to halt. Just say ho. And use your voice commands, of course, at this level. Training a horse. Close your fingers and just say, there, just like that. Much better. Good boy. Okay, now let's change direction, Sam. That was really good today. It's all come just much faster today. Everything's really starting to lock in.
Yeah.
He's beginning to understand the system, as Mr. Oliveira used to say. In the system. Same thing again, of course, into the walk and the stretch. Immediately asking yourself, where are the hindquarters? Are the two ends of the horse on the same circle or are they not? That's there. Yield his hindquarters a little bit as he comes around there, because he's kind of fallen into the inside a little bit. So already beginning to give him a little touch of that inside leg, asking him to step over to the outside a little bit like that. Really good. So you also have to think about a horse at this level. You have to think about what you're doing as kind of like a person building a car in your garage, right? You wouldn't expect to be able to drive the car much until you got the motor into it and you got the power steering working and all that, right? So that's something we have to realize when we're working with young or green horses, or even older horses that have never been trained, that we have to build the car before we can drive it, if that makes any sense. And all these are steps along the way to build the automobile, if you will, so that later on we will be able to ride him correctly, you know. But we hear all these things about how horses are supposed to respond to the age. Well, they only respond that way if they've been trained correctly. Otherwise, they just fight it. And unfortunately, so many horses today are trained by being fought into whatever they're doing. So they makes it very hard for amateurs to ride horses that have been trained by these kind of trainers that, you know, basically beat the horse up into doing whatever they want all the time. Most people don't want to be beating up horses. At least I think many of them do. Though I have met a few who seem to enjoy it too much. That's really nice there. Now he's starting to swing out, get a little deeper. That's really good in the walk. And prepare to trot. And ask him to trot rising. Once again, we don't worry about the transition to trot, because that's going to be difficult. So we're not going to worry about that. We're simply worried about, and each day the transition gets easier. Look how quickly you got right into the stretch just then. And once again, when the hindquarters fall to the inside, we lose it. The same thing here. We're moving around you actively. Kind of this stage of the horse, we're kind of just building the engine, if you will. Building the motor, and sure it keeps running smoothly. Like that. Really good. Keep that going. Of course, each day we do this, we're going to extend the amount of time. In the beginning, as soon as he got correct, we stop. Now that he gets correct quite quickly, then we keep pushing it every day. We keep building on that foundation. Really good. Keep it going. Like that. Really good today. Really nice. Is that going? Really good. Keep it going. Like that. Don't let it back off. Every time you feel you're starting to slow up, before you lift your chest and bring your shoulders back a little bit. When we ride, we can either ride ahead of the motion, with the motion, or behind it. You never want to be ahead of it. That's when you get killed. You go off forward. So when the horse everything is correct, like right now, you're just moving with his motion. But if he gets sticky, then we want to come behind the motion a little bit by lifting up our upper body. Like that. Keep that really good today. Really consistent. Really like it. I like how your body is much more consistent. You're not throwing that outside shoulder back anymore so much like you were when I first started working with you a few weeks ago. Really good. Keep it going just like that. Really, really nice. Really nice. I love how he's just dropping into it, following the light contact with the rein. That's exactly what we want to see. Keep it going. Now let him walk.
And walk. Good boy.
Excellent. And even all these transitions, even like that downwards transition, was really nice. Much better than what I saw in previous weeks. Now ask him to halt. Good boy. Okay, Sam, just stay in the middle, but take the line off, and now you're going to work around Sam.
Okay. Do you want side reins on or off?
Side reins can just stay on at this point.
Okay.
It's perfectly fine to ride in side reins if they're correctly adjusted on flat surfaces like this, where we're not doing too much. And you would never want to do this out, going cross country where there's holes or this or that,
Okay.
And once again, they're acting like training wheels. They're just helping you to keep him there in case he starts to come off of or begin to fall over like on your bicycle, right? Just to help you to keep him there while you learn how to do it. He learns how to do it. Like that. Just staying on that big circle around Sam. It's really nice. And just continue to ride just like you were before. Every time you lose the back, it hollows a little bit. Think about how you got it when you had the lunge line on there. You had to get the hindquarters to move out a little bit. So do the same thing here. Keep yielding those hindquarters a little bit. Now this time I want you to go large in the arena. Sam, I want you to stay where you are, but Darcy, I want you to go large all the way around. Keeping that active walk. Gonna have a little bit more walk. It's kind of slowed off. It's beginning to kind of flag a little bit behind, if you will. Then you're going to turn by the center line at the top there and try a leg heel to the left. Sam, just stay in position where you are. Step out of the way if you're in the way a little bit, but basically stay in the middle of the arena. There we go. Keep that going. Not bad at all. Good job. Now on to the circle around Sam again, right there. Soften him a little bit with your inside rein there as you move those hindquarters a little bit outside. See if we can get the stretch a little deeper again, like that. There. Now prepare to trot and right into that same rising trot that we had a moment ago when you were on the line.
Is he gonna poop?
Trying to poop there. Relieve himself. That's right. Okay. Back in the trot. There we go, all the way down into it, just like this, on your own. Really good. Keep that. Back down there. Good job. Now get a little more swing in it, just like that. Really nice. Keep that. Keep that. Your position looks really good. Much better. Keep that around the circle. Really good. Really nice. Now as you come to the wall, ask him to walk. Really nice. Now go large in the walk and then change the rein across the next diagonal.
Good boy.
Really good boy. It's so much better. Really nice and consistent today.
It's funny, sometimes I really have a lot better luck getting him to stretch at the trot than I do the walk.
Yep, that can often be. Now, as you come around here this time, turn down the center line and leg heel to the right.
Pay attention.
Ask for a little more crossing over, a little tap of your whip behind your leg. There, that's much better. There you go. Really nice. Keep that going. Keep it going. Keep it going. Keep it going. Threw out the shoulder a little bit at the end, but that's better. You corrected it. Very nice. Now on to the circle around Sam again. I have to get some horse manure sitting here where I'm doing this, so it smells like I'm in a barn. It seems funny to me to be teaching you and not smell the barn. Odd thought. On the circle there.
Manure?
On the circle there, with Sam in the center.
Can you hear me? Should we ship you a jar of horse manure?
What's that?
Should we ship you a jar of horse manure? And
I have my own. All right, I'll grab a bucket.
You have your own? Okay. Are you guys using that hippo dung?
No, we did for a while. It just became. We're still working on that.
Okay.
I'm using another thing that's like it.
What?
Now,
That's good.
there we go. Now, once you reach the wall on this other side, start your trot just before you get to the wall over here and back on your circle, just like we were in the other direction. Once again, we don't worry about the transition being good, because it's not going to be at this point. Just worry about getting them moving again and back into the stretch, because that's what will ultimately correct those transitions. Top of your whip there, give them a little more. There you go, like that. Get back into it. Really nice there. Keep going.
This is where we lose all steering.
That's all right. Once again, we're still building the steering, so that's why this is going to be difficult. There you go. Good. Into that stretch. Now look up. Little bump of your leg. Keep him going like that around your circle. Remember, when he gets sticky, to bring your shoulders back a little behind the motion. Good right now. Nice. Back into that stretch. Just a little tap, bumping with that inside leg, trying to move the hindquarters over a little bit. A little bit more difficult in this direction, getting back into the deep stretch again. Like that. Good. Keep that. Now he's good. Now we have a good trot around the circle. That. Really good. Keep that. Keep that. Really good. Much better. There we go. Like that. Super job. Right there. Excellent. Excellent. Keep it going. Keep that going. Just like that. Up right there. Very nice. Try to keep him a little more between your range there, so you don't just depend on that wall to make the turn there. So keep just softening, slack out of the reins like you're doing right there. So you keep feeling that inside the rein a little bit like that. Good, right through there that time. Good, good, good. That's fantastic. Really nice. Now let him walk. And let him stretch back out on the walk. Absolutely fantastic. Just a little softer, a little deeper in the stretch before we finish.
You can do it.
Very nice. One more time to soften him a little bit with inside. There you go. You get a little deeper into that right there. Good. And you may halt. And just say ho to him. Close the reins a little bit. All coming much quicker all the time. Very nice. Pat him on the neck and you may dismount.
Good job.
Very, very nicely done. Now that was by far the best I've seen this horse go. Like you could see in his eyes, he knew what he was doing. He knew what to expect. So you're now beginning to build on something. There's a foundation that's beginning to happen there for you. And I hope you see how all these problems that he had are beginning to disappear.
Yeah.
Because a horse like this never really was trained. So you've got a horse that was not trained. So you can't expect them, once again, they're going to look for, when they're not trained correctly, they look for ways out of the work. They don't know what to expect. And the systematic training, I hope you can see now that this has made a big difference in how he works and just building on that consistency. Really great job. Questions today?
No, I don't have any. I think it's feeling good because I feel it the same way. Like I can feel it, the progress. I think about the first day that you did the lesson with me. Do you remember how bad it was? Him dragging me over to the door, and it was really bad. So it's gotten much better.
That's what most people don't get who've never really trained horses, is how important the consistency of what we do is in these first years of building, of teaching them something, because they don't know. We can't expect them, to walk in here and know how to do this. And of course, that's part of the process. If you have to be good enough rider as you are to be able to let the horse stretch down at this point, because otherwise the connection will never happen.
Yeah.
And this is what happens to beginners trying to train their own horses is they don't ride well enough to put a horse into a stretch and keep them there, to begin with. So, it just kind of becomes this back and forth, thing of a little better, a little worse, a little better, a little worse. Instead of every day, we want it to be a little better every day.
Yeah.
What I've seen in the last 3 weeks is every day he's gotten much better. He gets to where you want him to go much more quickly, much less resistance. And I can tell that he's understanding what you want now. His eye looks different to me. Like, okay, he gets and he gets that we're not asking him to do anything that's out of the, what he can do. And that's the other reason why so many not young people, but beginning people riding or training horses don't get, is how long it actually takes to teach horses these things and the depth of the understanding that they have for it to be consistent and for them, their little minds not to be blown. I mean, there's two kind of horses, the kind that go crazy and the kind that just check out, so when you train that other way, you usually get one of those two things, a horse that's half out of its mind or one that's just totally checked out.
Yeah.
Horses that are quieter like this one tend to get that kind of check out thing where they just kind of check out and they take you where they want to go. Not really understanding. No one really built the automobile before they tried to drive it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's how we have to understand these steps that, why can't I just jump on him and go cross country right now? Because the horse isn't trained. Once again, if you were building a car in your garage, would you take it out of the road when it had no brakes?
Yeah.
But I've seen hundreds of accidents happen because people did this with horses and not realizing that. Just for instance, like a young horse, that's because it's calm in this indoor arena doesn't mean you should jump on it and go take it fox hunting tomorrow with 100 horses. You're probably going to not make it if you do. So, all right, great work today.
Thank you. Ron will really appreciate your analogy to the car because he knows how to build a car. So.
Now, before you walk, and be sure to always undo the side reins before you go into it.
Oh, okay.
Unhook the side reins before you try to lead the horse out of there.
Darcy, did you tell him about yesterday? Yesterday he was really good.
No, I didn't tell him about yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday he was really good. Also yesterday I think we saw some, he just seemed to enjoy himself and he had some pride in himself yesterday, I think.
That's what I saw today too. Like he understood what we asked of him. He wasn't unhappy about doing it. He knew it was something that he was going to be able to do, and so he did.
Like he had confidence in himself, confidence in us.
Difficulties when they ask horses to do things that they either have no concept of or physically can't do. Like if you trying to sit to a trot before you have a back on your horse, all it can do is become high sway back. Very nice. Okay, Ron, ready with his? Great job today.
Ron, you ready? Ron's walking in. Stage left.
I'll be right back while you guys get organized.
Yep. We'll just run for a second, Ron. So you got a second, so just take your time. Okay. Do you want anything else? You fixed the side reins.
Okay, so I hear we've had an improvement here. That's great. This one is good.
Just give me a second to get mic'd up here. Hey, Sam. Can you give me a hand for a second? me well?
I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Alrighty. Okay, buddy.
A little work to do to start
Let's
with.
go this way. Come on. Walk on. Okay, come on. Walk. Yeah, just put them off to the side, not on the computer. Thank you. So yeah, we had a really good week. Sam worked Trigger. I worked him. He seemed to be doing pretty good, right? Improvement. Yeah, so he was doing really good. So we'll see what we got today.
Excellent. So start with the work in hand. I'm ready to go.
Come on. Might get him out a little further here, so.
Yeah. So take that out while you're pushing him out there. That's the opportunity to do a little leg yield. Yeah, much better. Just a little bit of a tap, see if you can activate the hindquarters a little bit more so that step becomes a little more active. We can get a little more push up. There, good. Better, keep that. Remember to move that outside rein up the neck there a little bit when it gets too far forward. There you go, like that. Even a little bit higher, try to get it a little closer to the withers there. As you lift it up, there you go, like that. As I say, in the beginning, we're mostly just kind of working off the inside rein, but as we go on here, we're slowly getting the horse to stand up to that contact with the outside rein. When I say contact, it's just shortening the rein. It's not pulling back or holding against it. Yeah, like that, good. And once again, try to maximize the step a little bit, see if you can get a little bigger step. So important for a horse like this. Yeah. Now go ahead and go large down the rail this time, and when you get to the other end, turn down the center line and try a leg yield to the right. Remember to start your leg yield as you start your way through the turn there before he has a chance to straighten all the way out. Will make it easier. Really nice there. A little straighter in the neck. Let him have a little. There you go. You never want more bend in the neck than in the middle of the body. That's good where you have it right there. Really good. Like that. Very nicely done. And just onto a circle there from the time you hit the rail there, just onto a big circle again in the stretch. Ask him to yield the hindquarters just a little bit. So as we go around our circle here this time, let's try to get a little more shoulder forward. So we push the hindquarters a little bit outside your circle. That way we get a little more push up. So his lower back behind the saddle is looking a little better this week. I see a little improvement there. So it tells me you guys have been doing something right.
Yeah, it's starting to fill out. It's good.
Once again, for a horse like this who's rather straight behind, the only way you'll ever get any kind of movement out of him is to get him over his back. A lot of these horses today are bred so well, they've got such good hocks that people think they're over their backs because they still have a lot of hock movement. But a horse like this, even though they're not, and of course it destroys the horse to not be over his back, but a horse like this, you can really see the difference because without him being over his back, he doesn't flex those hocks at all. hindquarters just a little bit more outside your circle again. Like that. Really good. Really good. Really good. Very nice. Good job, Ron. You can stop there and change directions. Starting on your circle like that. Good. Good. Coming nicely. Keep trying to maximize that step. There, like that. Good. Good. Much better. Keep that. Now go straight down that long side as you come to the rail there. It's fine. And then turn down the center line and leg heel to the left.
It's interesting in all the commotion in the alleyway.
There we go. Good. Good position. His shoulders leading. That's what I want to see. Stepping pretty nicely under. There we go. Good. Very nice. Now onto your circle right there. To start a big circle, keeping him into that stretch. Remembering to move that outside hand rein back up the neck again. Like that. Good. Getting that steady contact all the way down. Now try to maximize the step so it becomes a little bigger. See if we can just get a little more step out of him while he's stretching here on the circle for a moment. Good. There we go, like that. Letting the hips free up a little bit. We see a little more step, a little more flexion in the hocks. Nice. And you can stop him right there. Really good. Nice work today, Ron. This is getting better every time. And we're ready for the lunge line.
I already had the side reins rigged up, so.
That's great. You're ready to go. Now, generally, it's a good idea not to put your side reins on until you're in the center of the ring, kind of where you're going to work. So I would take your reins off and lead him out to the center, just as a safety thing for the future.
Okay, I could do that. That's not a problem.
Take him to the center, then put him on, and then go.
Okay, buddy. Let's go out here.
Once again, do you want to take your reins off of the bridle, or are you going to leave them on there?
Yeah, I'll just come out here, take the reins off, and then.
Just getting in the habit of not leading horses around with side reins on. It's never a good idea, or to be kind of place where you're, somewhere tight like that against the wall like that, in case something happens. But we just never know what horses may do.
Yeah.
If the side reins are on them, they feel that tension, then, if something happens, that can panic them. So we always want to keep ourselves out where everything is free and clear.
just put them right here for now.
Perfect.
Hey, bud. Come on. So I think his better way to go is going to be going to the right. So I'm going to start him on the right first.
Good.
He seems
Very
to
good.
do better that way.
Now go ahead and walk with him a little more, but push him out onto a little bigger circle. So when we start him in the trot, you're on a little bigger space there. That's it. Try to let him start going around you now. Like that, much better. So we always have to consider the size of the circle that we're on, and be sure it's something that the horse actually can do what we're asking him. If the circle is too small, it's too difficult. Though sometimes we start in a very small circle just to get him to yield the hindquarters, but this is really good now, really nice. Let him stop and relieve himself. Both of them have had a nice look in their eye today.
They're happy. They've been inside just chilling out.
Yep.
Okay.
Like that. Really nice. That's a good walk for him. I like that. It's there. Once again, see how he's bending those hocks behind, picking them up and putting them back down. That's what we want to see. Now go ahead and start your trot. Trying to push the notice how his hindquarters are way to the inside. So he's got the shoulders pulled outside. So we have to get him to yield those hindquarters in order to get him to engage and push up into his back a little more. So keep just running your lash out. Give him little taps with the whip. So he starts to move those hindquarters out away from you like that. If you don't touch him, he doesn't know what you want. Later on, once they understand what we want, then all we have to do is show them the whip maybe a little bit. But sometimes we have to touch them and get them to understand. It doesn't mean we have to whip them, so to speak. We want to be good enough with the whip that we can just run it out and just tap the horse with it. Going. Again, yielding the hindquarters just a little more so we begin to get a little more trot out of him. There. Working that. Yielding the hindquarters every time he comes around there, so he kind of looks to the outside and switches his bend. Getting better, starting to move better.
Yeah, it takes a minute to warm up.
So do I at this age. Going. Good. Keep That going now? We're getting there. Go ahead and let him walk for a second. Your side reins are just slightly too long. Just go ahead and stop him and shorten him up about 3 holes on either side just to take up the slack a little bit.
And
now let's see. Also with him, didn't I have you last week put the side reins down lower?
yeah, we got him on lower.
Yeah, so put him around the thing and slip them down. They should be down for him, down by his elbow. The reason I do that, because I don't want to, then we can just relieve the reins the length you have them if you just lower them, because they're not coming into contact.
I think what happened was I put them on, but I didn't lower them. It's low on one side, but not on the other.
Let's try it again once you get them low on both sides, and then we'll see if that's enough.
Got it.
Still may shorten them a little bit. They still look a little bit on the long side, but try it there and let me see what happens.
Okay, buddy.
So for those watching what I'm doing here, so I want him to contact the bit before his head gets too high. Much better now. But on the other hand, I don't want to shorten them away because I don't want to pull his neck back into his body. I just want the reins to come in contact a little sooner, so as he starts to raise his head, he'll feel that a little bit and want to stretch back down again and relieve that. That's much better now. Now go back into your trot again. Yeah, much better. So see how just that few inches lower makes a big difference, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
As I said, we don't want to shorten them all up. We just want to get him to feel that contact and then stretch into it. Again, feel like he needs to push those hindquarters a little ways. It comes around. That's really good now. Now we're getting to a good space. Keep that going. Every time he comes around there, start to yield his hindquarters a little bit, stepping towards him, pushing the hindquarters a little bit away. So he stays engaged. There. Keep going. Now go ahead and walk again. These can still be just a little bit shorter. So I do want you to walk and just about 3 minutes.
And walk.
That was much better, but they can still be a little bit shorter. So take them up about 3 holes on either side. For those of you watching, if you're interested in how we've done this, Ron has put up some videos of how to set all this equipment up and what you need to make this happen. So we thank him very much for going all of this trouble, figuring out how we can do this.
Yeah, and then if anybody has any questions, feel free to message me, and I'd be more than happy to talk you through what's needed, and that way you can contact Will and get some lessons from him.
There we go. Socially distanced.
Yes, being safe.
And safe. So our clinic is next month on the 17th and 18th, right?
Yes, 17th and 18th. Yep, and we'll be doing, we'll have the live stream going for people to view and audit. And I think we're talking maybe about doing a possible Q&A. Okay, buddy, you ready?
Oh, there we go. Now we're back again. Very nice there now. Much better walk. His body looks much better. Just a few weeks of what you've been doing, he's looking good. Nice. Now back into a trot again. Again, here we don't worry about the transition. We just worry about what happens after we do the transition. Nice, so much better. So you see how that's getting that a little bit shorter. We're not pulling him back behind the bridle or anything, but that gave him enough contact to want to stretch into it a little more. Like that. And every time he comes up, and you can see how he hollows, how the back end kind of speeds up, takes these little short steps. You want every step to be the same. Like that, really nice. It's coming better. And bring him a little closer to you and yield the hindquarters just a little bit more. There you go. That's much better. Much better there. Much more consistent, like that. Same thing again, when he comes out, we have to yield those hindquarters every time he comes up. Much better now. Good. Much better. Keep that going. Keep it going. And now we're just doing a little strength building. Once we keep it, then we'll see if we can keep it a little while. Build some strength, muscle building. This is a way of thinking about it. Think about the walk is where we explain everything to the horse. Trot's where we build muscle, and the canter is generally but where we build wind. Now, just to see what it looks like now, ask him for a canter as you come to the wall over here so I get a baseline of what his canter is starting to look like. Good, not bad at all. So keep trying to make your circle big enough. Just keep going for a minute and see if he begins to release a little bit. Keep it going in the canter for a moment. Just want to see what he does. If he starts to release a little bit, which he's starting to do a little bit there, it's certainly better than what we have seen. What happened here? I lost my picture there for a second for some reason.
And Trot.
I've lost my photograph of you, Ron.
Okay. I still see you.
You still see me.
Can somebody come out here and take trigger for a second?
So what happened was my phone rang, and when my phone rang, which I'm using for my internet hotspot, the Zoom camera clicked off.
Yeah. You're still on. We can see you.
You can see me.
Yeah.
I still am on Zoom, but all my camera went away for you guys. Why is that? Do I need to reload the page?
Yeah, just try to check and see if your camera shut off on your Zoom bottom corner there.
In the corner?
Yeah, in the bottom where it says camera. Is there an X through it? Bottom left-hand side?
No, I don't actually have that. Let me see. Maybe it'll...
Should be if you scroll down to the very bottom, you should see a stop and show video. There's a little camera on the bottom, left-hand side of
Wait
your
a minute.
screen.
I think I know what happened. Wait a second. Because there you are. What it did is it clicked me off of the Zoom app. Now I
Okay.
see you there.
You back on?
Yeah, I know what to do now if that ever happens again.
Technology.
Technology. All right.
Did you get to see any of that canter?
I did enough, yeah. And it looks better each time. Not enough that I want you to do much of it, but it's improving.
Yeah, I haven't done it since the last time you asked.
That's fine.
Do you want to see him
change?
go the other direction? Did you want to see him go
Yes.
the other? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, change trick.
Thank you, Sam.
But that's coming much, much better, much more consistent in the trot. It's much happier in the work. Nice. Always about yielding those hindquarters. Every time you see him hollow, he comes up, bends to the outside, just ask him to yield those hindquarters away again.
Nice. Like I cantered, so I'm all ready to go.
And go ahead and walk again for just a moment.
And
so it's your.
walk. And walk. And walk.
That's right. Just give and take that inside rein a little bit, softening a little bit. Yielding the hindquarters just a little bit more, a little stiffer in this direction. Cool.
Yeah, this is the direction that he always looks to the outside with. So I've been working on trying to get him to not do that. Like bends his neck to the outside.
Right. Just keep yielding those hindquarters away from him.
And walk.
That's getting better. Get a little more feel, just give and take that inside rein limit, so you keep feeling that while you push those hindquarters away, just giving and taking a little bit like that. You can't just grab a hold of it and pull you. Softening a little bit on that side. There you go. It's getting better. It begins to yield the hindquarters away a little bit. That's getting better. Get a little bit deeper yet. Softening a little bit.
Come on. Move out.
Now go ahead and trot. Let me see what he does in the trot. The same thing here. Yield those hindquarters. He's really got the hindquarters way inside in this direction. So once again, you just get back enough for him so that you can tap him with that whip. You can run the lash out and just give him a little tap. So we get him to just move those hindquarters. Doesn't have to be a lot, but enough that he just feels it enough like that. He starts to push them to the outside. That's the idea.
Just a little love tap, right?
A love tap, exactly. You know, a whip can be used in very, very many different levels of intensity, so to speak, from just touching the horse with it. We want to be able to be that sensitive. What do they need? We want to touch them just enough to get a response and not more. There, getting there. Work Working that every time, trying to bring the hindquarters to the outside a little bit more. Definitely hard for him in this direction. Getting better. Getting better.
Yeah, he's very, very rushy right now.
Yeah. Fine. Now go ahead and walk again.
And walk.
And I want you to shorten the side reins a couple more holes in this direction.
And
Next time we do this, I will remember to put my phone on no calls. We won't have that problem.
there you go.
Our house internet is completely gone now. We haven't had it for 3 days. You'll notice that we've tightened the side reins, but we haven't pulled the horse's head in. If you should have to take hold and try to pull the horse's head down to fasten them, they would obviously be way too short. But they're not forcing him into any kind of frame, but they're taking a little contact a little sooner with him. Help him understand what it is that we want, like that. Much better walk. Every time he comes up, once again, try to yield those hindquarters. Go ahead back to the trot again. Good. There he starts to release again. Right away, run that lash out and give him a little tap and try to make the circle bigger. Give him more line there and let's move him away from you. The circle he has difficulty. So the smaller the circle is, the harder it's going to be for him in this direction because he has a hard time even bending in this direction at all. So try to walk with him and make your circle larger so he's touching the wall on both sides. Give him all the room he can possibly have in there. And just try to lift every time he tries to fall in at you like he does coming around that end up there. Then you want to just step towards him and just run the lash out and give him a little touch on this back end there a little bit like that. Goes into very typical that they'd rather give you a bad canter than a good trot. We're trying to understand what it is we're trying to get them to do. Again, keep trying to use those hindquarters a little bit.
And trot.
Going there, good, starting to happen a little bit there, good. Keep working that, glimpses of it. Getting better. There, now walk him again.
And walk.
Halt and go ahead and change directions and go back the other way again.
Okay. And halt.
So he did begin to stretch into it, so I want to give him a little reward, go back, work the other side again where it's easier to get him correct, and then we'll come back here again. But we wanted to stop there and reward him because he did suddenly begin to get it. Stretched a little deeper into it, let his back move a little better.
Okay, buddy.
And go ahead and go back in the trot. Once again, walking with him, trying to give him a little bigger circle, so it's a little easier for him like that, so he can basically has the whole width of the arena. There he goes, much better there. Keep that. Keep that, really good now, really good. Always remember that a horse's ability to bend is dependent on whether they can lift their back. If they can't lift their back, they don't bend. As soon as they lift their back, they bend very easily. Nice, that's better there.
And Trot.
Not a bad little canter, though. That's certainly improving. There, all the way down in it like that. Keep going. I just want to get him to release a little more completely there. Good. Well, that's better. Very nice. Keep that going. Much better now. Very nice. Much better. Keep that. Now we're really starting to get somewhere. Really good there. Really good. Much better. Now let him walk again.
And walk. Walk on.
Starting to look good. Now go ahead and halt and change directions again.
And who?
And see if we have a little improvement now. That was kind of interesting while I was watching that. He was relieving himself, and all of a sudden it started running backwards, and the poop was going back in his body.
That's hilarious.
Seconds. I don't know what caused that. All of a sudden it was running backwards. Weird. Funny little shot.
There. He started me with that.
Go ahead and start the trot. Once again, bigger circle right away because it's very hard for him. So in this direction, we want to get him on as large a circle as quickly as we can because he has a really hard time. There, like that. Much better now. Keep that going. Now we're seeing what we want to see. It's much again, every time he comes around there, bring him in a little bit, yield the hindquarters, but keep trying to work him on this really big circle. Much improved, like that. Getting better every time. There we go. Very nice. So yield the hindquarters a little bit again every time he comes to that position. There, like that. The idea. Keep it going. That's much better. Like that. Again, yielding the hindquarters a little bit. There. Now let him walk.
And walk.
Well, he gave me a couple of good steps over there. That's why I wanted to bring him back and let him stretch in the walk again.
Walk on.
Bring him a little closer to you so you can soften him and yield the hindquarters again. Like that. Much better in the walk. Keep feeling your range just a little bit. So you just soften that mouth a little bit. So you just even take a little bit there while you push the hindquarters the other way. There you go, like that. Starting to yield for you now. Now back into the trot again. Yeah, good. Much better. Keep it going. There. Really good there. And again, just a little more active. There. Good. Much better. Much better. Keep that going. Better. Again, yielding those hindquarters a little bit. Much better. Getting there. Keep it going. Watch that spot right there. Now let him walk again.
And walk.
And once again, keeping the hindquarters out away from you so he stretches into it. We improve this walk. Kind of hold your ground. Bring the forehand a little bit towards you and move the hindquarters away from you. So when we're walking here, you can go onto a little bit smaller circle so you can yield those hindquarters a little more easily. Like that. That's better. That's better. Starting to straighten out. A little bit deeper into the stretch. There. Now halt again.
And whoa.
Kind of want to, when you say whoa, turn your whip the other way or something. He's not still seeing you driving with the whip. Okay. Now go ahead and change directions again. Go back the other way. So we're just going to go the other way and just get him to stretch up down again because we want to finish on the good side again so that he really gets this steady. But this is way improved over the last 2 times I saw you. It's starting to look like something now. Much better. Now go ahead and ask him to trot. Yield those hindquarters. Look at where the hindquarters are. Try to get them moving away from you again. Like that. Very nice. So you have to understand, whenever you see a horse, his back is dropped, when you see that big hole behind the saddle like you see with this horse, I mean, that's how far down the horse's back is. So it's got a long ways to come up. So we can expect them to be a little more difficult one way than the other, and it's going to take a little while to correct that. So it's so important that every step we take is correct. So it gets enough strength to come up and start carrying you. Like that, there. There, much better, much better, much better there. Much better. You want to see a little more release of that underside. There you go, like that. That's really good. Keep it there, keep it there, keep it there, keep it there. Keep that going. There's what I'm looking for. Much better. Keep it going. There, good. A little more active there. A little tired now. There you go, like that. There, good. Now walk.
And walk. Walk on.
There.
Walk.
Nice there. Now go ahead and halt.
And who?
Now what I'd like you to do is put the reins back on. Now I want you to finish today with work in hand to that difficult direction till we get him to really stretch all the way down.
Okay.
So I think maybe by next week I can put you on this horse. But understand, there's no point, if the horse can't hold its back without you up there, if it can't just go around a circle holding itself in the correct position, you wouldn't want to put the weight up there, because it's not, if he can't hold himself up, he can't hold you and himself up, right?
Yep.
So we have to build enough strength that we get to that point where first he can hold himself up, and then we'll expect him to hold you up as well. Because if you get on before that, there's no, once again, if he doesn't have the strength to hold himself up, all he's going to do is drop his back out from underneath you, and it will be a waste of time. So once again, we want, when we train, that every step to be useful. We don't want to do something good and then turn around and undo everything that we do. I see a lot of people who now have started stretching their horses because they kind of have this idea. Once again, the stretches that we do are in all of the lower level dressage tests, up through 4th level. So these are things that are expected, and the point of them putting in those stretches in the dressage test was to prove that the horses were correctly trained. A horse that won't follow the contact is not trained. So once again, it's important that we just start, especially with one like this who's, had some debilitating work over years, How old is this horse now?
He's 13.
13 or something. So he had lots of years before.
When we got him, he was really kind of a rescue. So he was not in good shape, underweight, feet were a mess, and he was really sensitive with a bit. So over the last 4 years, we've brought him to what we have now. So
well, you're doing a great job. It's recovering. It will just get easier and easier. But understanding these basic principles of training is what keeps us from getting frustrated. I look at a horse, once again, I'm never going to get on a horse if it can't hold itself up. Why bother? Or if I get on it, it's not going to be able to do it. So all I'm going to do is try to fight it to get it to do something. So that would be pointless. Now, are we in the difficult direction now? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Good. And just on a circle here like this. That's what I want to finish with. All right. Just keep making that step a little more active. We're going to stretch a little bit deeper in this direction like that. If you can make the step kind of quicken the step of the back end so he starts stepping a little more actively like that. There, and he starts to release it all the way down. And that's why in the training also, once again, if you couldn't get him around over his back, then you get off of the lunge. So come back to where we find where we can get something to work correctly. So we back up through all the things we might be doing with a horse, so we find the place where we can get him to work correctly. Once he understands that at the walk here, it won't be long before he'll be able to do it in the trot as well. But if we get on and just ride him hollow, that will undo everything that we've done. Really nice. A little bit deeper, soft him, see if you can get him to really release that neck. With a horse like this, we want his nose to go all the way to the ground. We'll hear many people talk about, oh, you should never stretch a horse to this level or this level. But the reality is every horse to stretch to begin to use their back has got to stretch the entire length of the neck to the top of the withers. That's what begins to bring the withers up through the shoulders and position the back in the right place. Like that, good. Much better. Yeah, much better, like that. There. Starts to release that under. And I'm always looking at that underside of the neck to see if it's completely releasing, that I don't see any tension there. Like that. Really nice. Much better. Move that outside rein back up the neck there a little bit again. Like that. Finish off there. He's actually bending. That's really nice for him right there. Really nice. Really nice. Just let him halt right there.
And
pat him out. Oh. Say ho. Make him take. Don't be in a hurry to make it fast. Great job today, Ron. So I saw a big improvement today in everything. Let's continue the same program. And just like we did today, if you can't quite get it on the lunge line to the trot, get off and just, rather stop and finish with him. You switch back and forth a few times like we did, because it was much better after we came back to the good side and then back to the other side. So, don't go long. Don't go more than a few minutes if you can't get it on the bad side. That makes sense. Before you just go the other way, stretch it again, remind him. And if you need to, just come back to work him in hand. In fact, you can mix that in anywhere you go. Like if you're just being particularly difficult, forget the lunging for a minute. Just put your slot right and just do it there, and then come back, put him back on the lunge line again. Be ready to go back and forth a few times, because it's not going to be necessarily a straightforward progress with a horse like this who's as stiff as he is in the one direction. So we have to just do what we can to keep helping him understand it. But that was hugely better and by far the best I've seen him move. So great job today.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, sounds good. We got some homework to do as usual. Yeah. It'll be good, and hopefully it'll make some progress this week. So
excellent. Well, you guys have made great progress all these weeks. So it's every time I see you guys, it's looking better and better and better. So really fantastic.
And then also, we just want to let people know about the clinic coming up on the 17th and 18th of October. We do have virtual auditing available, so we'll be able to do that. And and if anybody has questions on how to do this at their own space, just reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to help them out, get set up.
Is there a sign up? Where are people, if people want to be auditors or something? Do we have a sign up list or something where they can go to and get on that ahead of time, or how do we do that? Just out of curiosity, have we thought about that?
So there's a website that we have set up called bsigolive.com. It's bsigolive.com. You can sign up there, or you could email Darcy. Her contact, or message her on Facebook. Myself, you can also message myself on Facebook. So
great.
Sounds good.
So any questions, and of course, if anybody has any questions, you can send an email to me as well, and I'll be happy to in the right direction. So great. Maybe when you put these lessons up this week, you can put something in the little blurb about them.
Clinic.
Again, fact of where people go to sign up for this thing coming up on the 17th.
Sounds good. And like I said, if anybody has questions on anything, just feel free to reach out to me, and I'll be more than happy to help them out. Thank you, Will.
It's
appreciate it.
You are welcome. I remind everybody that Sam, my associate trainer, will be on the ground there when we actually do the clinic, as she is here today, to help anybody and
Sam,
step
come on
in where
say hello to the audience.
Step over there and say hi, Sam.
Because Will's talking you up.
I was just telling people how you will be on the ground to be my handler for things that I need to step on during the clinic.
Hello.
Hey, there's you all know she's been our associate trainer for a couple of years.
Everybody who's watching. I'll be there. Yes. I'll still be here.
She's been a part of our bubble for the last couple of weeks now, so she'll be here till the clinic. So we've all been quarantining together and doing this. So getting ready for the clinic.
Super. All right, everybody. Well, thanks again today to Ron and Darcy and Sam, of course, and everybody watching. And we look forward to seeing everybody for the clinic. We'll be doing this again next weekend again. So
next weekend, 3 o'clock. I'll put another posting on Facebook. You can see, and also we'll be posting the video also on Facebook, so they can go back and watch it later. Great. All right. Thank you very much. It'll be able to go back and watch all these, so you can kind of see the progression that they've made, that I've seen here over the last few weeks of once again, really getting them organized and the systematic training, what it's all about.
All right, great. This is Will Faerber. Great to see all of you, or you to see me, I guess, and us. And I look forward to seeing everybody before too long. Thanks again, Ron. Great job.
Great. Thank you, Will.
All right, guys. See you next week.
Oh. Dad, he says, Dad, where are you going? Hey, you're with me.